the legs to relax it down the mat. If I'm seated, I'll just see if I can try and create a little space at the front of the body. So instead of compressing the belly and then creating pressure up into the diaphragm so that it can't really work as it should be working, then see if I can give myself a little bit more space, so for the diaphragm to be able to move up and down and create that breath. So think of the ribs and the belly moving with the breath, while the top of the chest and the shoulders and the neck is staying soft and they're staying relaxed. And then same as usual, running a little scan over the body. So noticing where everything is and how it feels to begin the session. So there might be some stiffness, some tension. I might feel a bit wonky, a bit twisted. I'm not changing anything. I'm just noticing where everything is and how I feel to begin. Then as I feel the breath is a little bit calmer, the body feels a little bit more settled, a little bit more relaxed, I'm going to start focusing on the shoulders. I'm going to start off with a little elevation depression. So I'm going to pull the shoulders up to the head, and then I'm going to slide them away, press them down. So I'm going to pull them up, and then I'm going to slide and press them down. So I'm going to pull and push down, pull and then push down. If you're lying down, just using the floor, the mat to guide you. If you're seated, see if you can notice the difference. If I let my back hunch forward even slightly, the shoulder starts to come forward. So as I press down, I can feel that all of the tension is on the front of the chest. If I exaggerate and push back, all the tension will go into the back of the shoulders. See if you can try and find that position in between the two, where you feel that you can slide up and down with the same amount of tension at the front and at the back. 3, 2, 1. Then I'm going to release the shoulders. From elevation, depression, I'm going to go into protraction, retraction. So I'm going to pull the shoulders forward as if I was trying to get them to touch at the front. And then I'm going to draw them back as if I was trying to touch them behind. So I'm going to pull them forward. And then I'm going to squeeze them back. And then maintaining that movement going. In turns, imagine to be opening the front of the chest and then opening the middle of the back. If I'm laying down, sending the breastbone up to the ceiling as I extend, as I retract, and then pushing the back of the ribcage into the mat. If I'm seated, trying to use all of the space that I've got front to back to create a nice lift at the front and a nice roundness at the back. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, releasing the shoulders, releasing the upper back, just a little bit more movement into the shoulder girdle, some movement into the upper back too. I'm going to focus on still on the back, but this time I'm going to try and get some rotation going. So I'm going to start turning to the right. So if I'm seated, I can maybe cross the hands onto the chest. If I'm laying down, I'm going to bring the arms to the front. And then I'm just going to swing them around to the right, rotating as far as I can on the right. And then swinging around the left, rotating as far around the left as I can. So from one over to the other side. If I'm lying down on the back, or rolling from shoulder to shoulder. If I'm seated, see if you can imagine to be measuring how far around you can see when you turn and look around the right, and then when you turn and look around the left. And then as you notice that one side feels a little bit stiffer, then see if you can focus on that rotation in that direction. Can I create a better movement? Can I create an easier movement in that direction? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, and releasing the shoulders, a little bit more movement into the thoracic spine. I'm going to focus on the neck. I'm going to tug the chin down towards the chest. So if you're laying down, one hand to support the back of the head so there is no weight into the neck, and the arm or the arms are taking the weight of the head. I'm going to tuck the chin down towards the chest. Imagine it possible to be curling your head so far that you're trying to put your chest, your face on the breastbone, on the front of the chest. So think of the back of the neck lengthening away, the base of the skull pulling away from the neck, gentle stretch coming down the back of the neck. Then I'm going to release, I'm going to curl the head back up on top of the shoulder, see if I can bring it back in line with the shoulders. And then again, I'm going to try and reach from the back of the head, I'm going to curl forward and down again. And then I'm going to ease all the way back into neutral. As the head curls forward, as the head curls down, see if you can notice the stretch. Starting from the base of the skull, coming down the back of the neck, and sometimes even down to the middle of the back. I'm not forcing, I don't want the shoulders to drop, just the head. And then I might find that I can feel it stronger on one side than the other. If you feel it stronger on one side, check that the head is centered. So making sure that you're not creating that difference by moving the head to the right or to the left. And then if you feel that the head is centered, then yes, there might be a slightly different tension between the right and the left side. 3. 2. Last one. And releasing back, returning the head back on top of the shoulders, and then for flexion, I'm going to go into a little rotation. So without moving the shoulders, I'm going to turn the head to look around the right shoulder. Come back to center. I'm going to turn to the left. Come back to center. I'm going to go to the right again, and then I'm just going to hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to ease back to center. I'm going to turn to the left. I'm going to hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ease back to center. On the next one, I'm going to go to the right. I'm going to hold the head. And then as you keep looking over the right shoulder, think of drawing that left shoulder, so the opposite shoulder, back a little bit more until you can feel a little bit more stretch coming down the side of the neck towards the collarbone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easy back to center. I'm going to turn to look over the left shoulder, and then I'm going to draw back the right, pressing it back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and easing back to center. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a rock, and then I'm going to change the direction of the movement one more time. Going into a little lateral flexion. So I'm going to bring the right ear down to the right shoulder. Easing back to the center, left ear to the left shoulder. Right to the right, and the left to the left. Making sure that nothing seems to be catching, pinching, or causing pain. Nothing is causing referred pain down the arms or tingling into the fingers, so I'm not compressing the nerve. And then, although I'm taking the head to the side, I'm still supporting its weight. I'm not just letting the head flop to the side. As I feel the movement starts feeling a little bit smoother, then I'm going to bring the right ear down to the right shoulder and then hold it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Easing back to center, left ear to the left shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Easing back to center, right ear to the right shoulder. Keep it there. Now see if you can think of this time depressing your left shoulder. So I'm going to press it down and one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easing back to center, left ear to the left shoulder. And then I'm going to depress the right shoulder. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easing back to center. Last time, right ear to the right shoulder. I'm going to depress the left shoulder, press it down, and at the same time, retract it. So I'm going to press the left shoulder down and back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ease back to center. Left ear to the left shoulder. Depressing the right shoulder. And then retracting it, drawing it back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release it back. Returning the head back to the middle, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. Relaxing the shoulders, releasing the neck. I'm going to retest with the rotation, just turning the head gently from side to side. Noticing if anything has changed. Hopefully it'll feel a little bit easier, a little bit smoother. 3, 2, 1. And release it back. Returning the head back to the center. And then I'm going to start focusing a little bit more on the shoulder and the arm. I've got the depression, I've got the retraction. I'm going to try and see if I can make the muscles creating those two movements work a little bit more. I'm going to grab hold of the ball or the pillow, whichever one you've got. And then I'm going to tag the ball or the pillow between the right side of the rib cage and the right arm. So I'm just going to tag it under the armpit. I'm going to keep the right elbow bent and then turn the palm towards me as if I was trying to read the palm of my hand. Keep the palm turned towards you and the fingers pointing forward. Now, same as you did so far, think of depressing that right shoulder. So I'm going to press it down, and then as I press the shoulder down, I'm going to try and squeeze the ball. Then I'm going to relax, and then again, I'm going to depress, press it down, and squeeze the ball, and release. Now, keep the pressure going. See if you can be aware of what you're squeezing the ball with. Same as we did when you were working the shoulder up and down, playing with the different position of the shoulder. The tendency here, if the back of the shoulder is a bit weakened because of a bit rounded shoulder and forward posture, is to wanting to cross the arm over and use the chest to squeeze. See if you can think of, same as you did before, try to use a good balance between the front of the chest and the back of the shoulder to create a little pressure into the ball. And then I'm going to ease back. So if I'm laying down quite easy, just to think of the back of your arm standing on the floor. So it's not lifting away, it's not moving away, it's just gently rubbing against the mat. If I'm seated, imagine a wall behind you, the back of the arm is just gently resting on the wall. I'm going to keep it on the wall as I squeeze in, as I release back. 3. 2. 1. And release. Giving the shoulder a little bit of a roll. I'm going to try the same thing to the other side. So I'm going to tag the ball under the left arm, or between the left arm and the left side of the ribcage. Again, palm turn to face towards me, the elbows bent. I'm going to depress that left shoulder, and then I'm going to squeeze the ball. Then release, depress the shoulder, and then squeeze the ball. So same as you did on the other side, on the other arm. Just noticing where the tension is. If I can feel it at the front of my chest, it means that the arm is almost like coming across the front of the body. So if I can keep the forearm pointing straight ahead, even when I'm squeezing into the ball. So see if I can find that even tension between the chest and the back of the shoulder muscles. 5. 6. The head is centered. 7. 8. 9. 10. And releasing back. Releasing the tension, relaxing the shoulders. The shoulders should be feeling a little bit more dropped. This is a little bit more relaxed. I should be able to feel a little bit more around the back of the shoulder and the front of the chest. There's a little bit more control there. I'm going to see if I can try and keep the control around that same area. But this time, instead of squeezing, I'm going to try and open out. So I'm just going to bend the elbows, turn the palms to face up. Or face forward, face towards me. I'm going to keep the elbows tucked into the side of the body, and then I'm going to start rotating the arms out. So think of the movement coming from the top of your arm, turning into the shoulder socket to create that rotation, and then turning back. Both arms working together. If you're seated, be aware, make sure that it doesn't feel as if your elbow is suddenly sliding behind you. So I'm not retracting, I'm rotating the arm. So the elbow is still by the side of the rib cage and you're still squeezing into the side of the body. If you're lying down, just using the mat to guide. So I'm just going to keep the top of the arm close to the floor and then squeezing the elbows into the side of the waist. I'm just going to rotate them out. And then I'm going to rotate them back. Just a little bit more activation at the back of the shoulder. I'm not forcing anything. I don't want to create any pain. And then same as you've been doing so far, make sure that the shoulders are depressed, they're down, they're not coming up to your head. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. And giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. It's a little bit more connection around the shoulder. What I want is to try and get the back involved into the movement again. So if you're on your back, if you're laying down, I want you to roll over onto your side, setting yourself into what's going to be an opening and closing doors. So the knees are bent, directly in front of the hips, so the shins are level to the front of the mat. Bottom arm, I'm going to pull it forward so that I'm resting on the back of the shoulder. And then if I need something under the head, I'm just going to use the pillow or the block to raise the head up slightly. And then from here, think of trailing the finger of your top hand along the arm that is resting on the floor, so as if I was trying to tickle the inside of the arm, shoulder, across the front of the chest, all the way to the other side, and then I'm just going to ease my way back to the front. Then again, from the palm of the hand, along the inside of the arm, across the front of the chest, to the shoulder, and then I'm going to ease back. So keep the rotation going. If you're seated, I'm going to do the same thing, sitting up. So pick a side first. We're going to repeat the same way. I'm going to bring the arms to the front. I'm going to trail my right hand along the inside of the left arm. I'm going to turn, open, and then I'm going to come back. If I need to rest, I'm going to rest. Picking up the arms again, turning along, open, and then come back. So focusing on the rotation on that same side, see if I can create that little flowy movement, and then see if I can keep it relaxed. So think of that nice gentle touch along the inside of the arm, across the front of the chest, and then coming back. 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, releasing the shoulders, relaxing the arms. I'm going to try exactly the same thing to the other side. So if you're lying down, rolling over onto the other side and then setting the same position. So the knees are bent, the head is on the floor, the bottom arm reaching right through. And then same as I did on the other side, I'm going to trail the fingers along the inside of the arm, across the front of the chest. I'm going to turn and open, and then I'm going to release and come back. So rotating and rotating back. So same as you did on the other side. Nice easy movement. If I'm seated, the arms will get very heavy very quickly. So after each one, I can just drop them down, then pick them up again, and then I'm going to open, come back, little rest, pick them up again. So making sure that I'm not creating tension into the neck, I'm not stiffening the neck, I'm not stiffening the top of the shoulder. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing down, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, releasing the shoulders, releasing the upper back. It's a little bit more movement at the top. If you're lying down, I want you to roll over onto your back again. And then knees down, I'm going to see if I can try and get a little bit more movement through the arms as well, in a different direction. So imagine to be trailing your fingers along the body again. This time, instead of trailing it along the inside of the arm, I'm going to trail it along the side of the body. So with my right hand, I'm just going to go from the right leg up into the hip, up into the side of the rib cage, up into the shoulder if I can get to the shoulder, and then I'm just going to ease back. Then with the left, I'm going to trail along the left side as far as I can go, and then releasing down. So imagine 2 long zips coming out the side of the body. I'm going to try and zip up, and then let go, zip up on the other side, and then let go. So if you come a little rotation and a slight extension, if you're seated, if you're laying down, it's just a nice easy zip up one side and a nice zip up the other way. Play with the position of the arm, making sure that as the hand comes towards the shoulder, so as I get the zip right up to the top, it doesn't feel as if the arm is in an awkward position, so it doesn't feel as if the shoulder is kind of like wedged into the side of the head. It doesn't feel as if the neck is tensing and tightening up. It feels easy, it feels relaxed from side to side. So it's a nice, smooth movement. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, little bit more movement into the shoulder joint, the shoulder girdle. Just a little bit more movement into the back too. I'm going to try and focus further down into the back. So try to work around the lumbar. I'm going to start off with a little hip hitch. So same as usual, I'm going to hitch the right hip up towards the right side of the rib cage, and then the left to the left. So if I'm seated, think of pulling up the right seat ring, dropping it back, pulling up the left, dropping it down, pulling up the right, dropping it down, pulling up the left, dropping it down. So feeling the hips almost like walking up and down the chair. If you're laying down, exactly the same, the back of the pelvis stays flat against the mat. See if I can encourage a nice, easy side to side from the pelvis or from the hips. 9. So feeling the tension into the side of the belly. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. And releasing back, adjusting the hips to bring the hips back to the center. And then from the hip hitch, I'm going to go into a little pelvic tilt. So tilting the pelvis back, I'm going to press the lower back gently into the mat if I'm lying down. And then I'm just going to rock my way back into neutral. So tilting and then releasing the tilt. Gently massaging the back of the pelvis. From the lower back down into the tailbone, from the tailbone up into the lower back again. If you're seated, as usual, think of moving just at the bottom of the spine, not the top. So I don't want movement from the thoracic. I just want to try and create a little movement down into the lumbar. Tilting, and then releasing the tilt. Tilting, and then releasing the tilt. So I'm just going to roll back onto the back of the seat bed, and then come up onto the very tip of the sequence. So I'm going to rock back onto the tailbone and then up onto the very tip of the sequence. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release it back. Releasing the hips, adjusting the hips, straightening out the pelvis as much as I can. And then I'm going to start focusing on the legs. I'm going to grab hold of the pillow, of the ball, and then I'm just going to put it between the knees. I'm going to shuffle the feet just a little bit closer together. And then I'm going to start pressing into the ball. Fingers squeezing hard enough to burst the ball. Then I'm going to ease the pressure, and then I'm going to press hard again. And then same as usual, I noticed that my right leg seems to be working quite well, my left leg is not responding very well. If that's the leg that is not responding, I'm going to use my hand to try and encourage the movement. So I'm just going to tear the leg where I want it to go. And then I'm just going to ease back. It could be both legs, it could be one only. I'm just trying to see if I can teach both legs to be the same. So feeling a little tension coming from the inside of the leg, the inner thigh tensing. And at the same time, see if you can be aware of a little tension around the front of the belly. So a little bit of stability, holding the pelvis, holding the upper body steady as the leg is squeezing through. So I'm not collapsing down into the legs, especially if I'm seated. So I can feel a little bit more connection to the inner thigh. I'm going to see if I can try and work them a little bit harder. So the next one, I'm going to squeeze and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to release. Again, I'm going to squeeze and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release, squeeze and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release. 2 more times. Squeeze and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release. Last time. Squeeze and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And release it back. Relaxing the hip, but releasing the inner thighs, relaxing the legs. And then I want exactly the opposite. So instead of trying to squeeze into the ball, I'm going to try and open out. So I'm going to switch into the band. I'm going to shuffle the knees nice and close together, and then I'm going to wrap the band around the knees. I can put a little bow or a little knot to hold it in place, or I can just kind of like hold it with the arms. Obviously, if I hold it with the arms will let it tense. So it's nice to be able to let go with the arms. I can just relax them. So I'm going to tie the band around the knees. If it's a strap, so if it's not elasticated, leave it a little bit looser so that you've got a bit of a play, so I can move the leg slightly inside the loop. And then I'm just going to start pushing out into the band. So I'm going to push out as hard as I can, and then I'm just going to control back in. So this time, think of the tension being on the opposite side, being on the side of the hip. And then I'm going to ease back. And then exactly the same as I did for the squeeze. If I need a little bit of a guidance, I'm going to use the hand or the hands to help me guide the legs into the position, and then easing back. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And then on the next one, we're going to hold it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to ease back in. And then again, I'm going to push out. I'm going to hold it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ease back in. Pushing out. Hold it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Easing back. 2 more times. Pushing out. Hold the tension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And coming back. Last time. Pushing out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And releasing back. Giving the legs a little bit of a rub. Giving the cap. I'm just going to undo the band. And then push it to the side. Bring the legs, allowing the legs to move a little bit to relax. And then stepping the feet back to back, hips width apart. If you're seated, see if you can shuffle them just a little bit closer to the chair. So see if I can put some weight into the legs and down. And then pushing down through the soles of the feet. I'm going to shift the weight forward into the legs to see if I can imagine to be standing off the chair. So I'm just going to try and pull myself up. And then I'm going to drop myself back down. Pull myself up. And then drop down again. And then keeping the little forward and back, the little up and down. Down on the back, same as you think of a nice lift with the hips, bridging your way up. And then releasing back. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. And releasing back. Giving the hips a little shake, giving the legs a little shake, adjusting the pelvis, relaxing through the legs. When you're ready, rolling over onto your side and pushing yourself up into sitting if you're not already up in the sitting position. Finding a little support if you need that support, leaning against the wall, leaning against the sofa. Something that's not going to slide away. And then try to straighten out the back as much as I can. Same as we did at the beginning. See if I can create space at the front of the body, but this time I'm really going to exaggerate that space. So I'm going to push the chest forward, and then I'm going to try and lift it up. I'm going to start looking up I'm going to start looking behind, opening up the front of the body, and then I'm just going to let myself come forward, allowing the head to drop, the shoulders to come forward, and back to relax forward. And then trying again, lifting up, extending through, pushing the chest forward, extending, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing, coming forward, gradually dropping down. Last time, extending up as much space at the front of the body as I can. And then releasing, coming forward. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back. Take your bow.